What's up, everyone? Nan Man here with another episode of Nan Man's Nerd Corner. And again, we're going to just be listening to the solo episode because we're going to be diving into some more Magic the Gathering stuff because there was a ban announcement. And it was actually a really exciting one. Because we had some unbans. So we're going to get into that in today's episode. We're going to talk a little bit about the modern format. We're going to talk a little bit about what 2024 looks like for modern, slash, kind of the millions of sets that are coming out, which is the trend, and get into kind of our normal stuff of, what are we watching, what are we playing, what are we doing, all that stuff. We are working on lining up our schedule with our co-host so we can be able to get in another episode because we got a lot to talk about. Baldur's Gate 3 is out. We're saving that discussion and everything, of course, when Jaime's able to join us. Get some updates, what's going on with Diablo, what's going on with Spider-Man, all the fun stuff, kind of update episode. And then we're planning an anime episode because, we've talked about it in previous episodes. There's big stuff going on, especially if you're a One Piece fan with Gear 5. Pretty much all the anime scene has been talking about it. So lots of stuff to talk about when we, of course, get our co-host. But let's jump into it. Talk Modern. Just got back into competing at my local shop for Modern. I played a lot previously. If you guys have seen the YouTube channel, if you have not subscribed yet, consider subscribing. youtube.com/nanmans nerd corner, which has all of our Magic the Gathering content over there, as well as little clips from the podcast I've been posting up for people to be able to enjoy. But the way that it's set up is I played a lot for many years leading up to about 2019 when I decided to take a step back and, was going to grad school for my master's in special ed. And then, of course, there was a global pandemic. And so then I sort of, didn't really come back very much. I'd still go to the shop and pick up products and try to spend money, help support the shop. But I was never sitting down and playing tournaments and stuff until this summer when I came back. Now, that was a really big deal for me because when I went to the shop previously, before I basically fell off the earth in a lot of the shop goers' eyes, I helped organize and run weekly Modern tournaments. We recorded footage, posted it up, commentated it on Twitch, VODs up on YouTube. You can go back and look at some of the VODs. We got to experience some crazy periods, like this was Eldrazi winter periods, things like that were going on, Hogak stuff, so we got to see a lot of craziness over that time and kind of document and see what that kind of looked like. But because we were recording it up, people were getting better and looking at their gameplay. They wanted to be on camera. We were getting 20 some players, and the most that we got was around 30. That's a lot of people on a weekday to be able to come out and play. But that was the consistency. So we had a tournament circuit that we ran that was a 10-week long circuit. Then we had a big invitational at the end for whoever kind of performed the best. Of course, the points that you secure when you're winning. Oh, you win a round, you get 3 points. You lose a round, you get 0 points. If you get, of course, a draw, you get 1 point. Those points get added up after those 10 weeks, and the 8 players with the best scores got to compete at the invitational. So, we did that for, quite a while there and took a step back. So this is my first time really getting back into it. During that time when I was also doing the recording, we were, of course, traveling to SCG Opens. We were traveling to GPs. We were competing, and, our shop was overall performing well, and a lot of them were also traveling to similar events and stuff like that. You can see a couple of the vlog stuff of those event travels up on YouTube as well. So, but yeah, this is now third week that I've been back to the shop. First week went in playing Infect, more Bant Infect. I hadn't quite finished updating it. Still rocking Teferi in there since it's now no longer in the list. Also got access to some cool white sideboard cards, rest in peace, and things like that. But went 0-3. Took a game off of everybody I played, but definitely needed to adjust and get back into the swing of sequencing and lines and being like, okay, how does this work again? And then the following week I came back and went 4-0, beat everybody up. I posted up some of my list online for people to see. Of course, that's on the Linktree stuff. If you want to go and check out the Mox field, I think redirects you to the Commander stuff, but you can go click on my profile and you'll see the Modern section as well. Going to post up more Modern decks on there for people to check out the decks that we're doing. So did that. Came back now because we had an unbanning. There was 2 unbannings, so let's get into it, right? Modern unbanned Preordain and Legacy unbanned Mind's Desire. Let's talk about the Legacy stuff first, because it's brief, and then we'll get into the more modern stuff, which is our more focus right now. Mind's Desire is a Storm-based card, and you know how crazy stuff can be with Storm, but it costs 6 mana, so it is a little bit more expensive to jump through some hoops. But with things like LED and things like that, there's a lot of ways to be able to make more mana. But you're going to shuffle your library and start revealing cards from the top, and then you may cast those cards without paying their mana costs. It's got Storm, so you can copy it a bunch of times and do dumb stuff. But they're saying the state of Legacy, we want to try it out, feeling good, feeling comfortable. We don't feel like it's going to be as crazy as it might have once been, which makes sense, speaks to the power creep and the state of the format, which again brings us into the Preordain and the modern unbanning. Now, Preordain unbans, basically soft bans the other cantripy spells like Serum Visions. Not that it really saw much play anyway, is now officially done, and we're not really going to see it anymore in Modern. But Preordain, 1 blue, scry 2, draw a card. If you've seen Legacy, this is often used in Legacy. Players also run Ponder as well, to kind of just these powerful cantrips. Now, the discussion for this, and I am 100% in favor of more unbannings, which we'll talk about in a little bit. We're going to go through the ban list, and I'm going to highlight a couple of the cards that I feel like are more likely to get unbanned, as well as cards that I want to see get unbanned, and cards that I will say, don't unban these. These are too strong, even for Modern, even for the power creep version that we're at now. We're not at the state to allow these to be free. But Preordain's great. It basically was kind of an injection into the Murktide decks. If you have been following Modern, of course, we did an episode talking about the Modern Pro Tour, Lord of the Rings, Orcus Bowmasters, the One Ring. All these cards are having a huge impact on the Modern scene. And so Preordain being unbanned is really just like, hey, Murktide players, here's a tool that you get to use, right? It's like a nod to you guys. You know what? Let's try this out. See how this goes. Really, it's the main deck that's going to be utilizing it and helping it out. Of course, other blue decks in the format that can also benefit from it. But this is the one that matters the most. Because it's a safe enough position. They talked about originally it was banned due to the amount of consistency that was added to like Izzet decks like Storm and Splinter Twin, but both those of course have been banned. And even Splinter Twin is fine for Modern. It's fine. Like there's crazy evoke stuff. There's crazy counter spells now. Like I could do Force of Negation. And sit here and pitch a blue card and counter your Splinter Twin. I'm not worried about it. Right? We're very much in Legacy light, in Modern at the moment. So I think it's perfectly fine to be unbanned. I saw it last night when I went back, because of course this is my first time going back to the shop since the unbanning. I'm currently still rocking Infect, still adjusting numbers and trying to fit where I want it to be. Last night I went 2-2, lost to 2 Murktide players, ended up beating Hardened Scales and ended up beating 4-color Omnath. Um, that's kind of what I expected. The decks that are kind of doing their thing, that are not as removal heavy with a lot of cantrips to get them, like they run out of gas faster, and it's basically that line of, okay, I have to play a game plan of eventually you're going to run out of removal, and eventually I'm going to stick a threat and then just kill you. Where the Murktide is, they're using removal, they're cycling and speeding through their deck at such a fast rate, right? You're surveilling, you're using all these cantrips, and then you're landing a threat to keep a clock on me faster than I can be able to get enough pieces to continually protect and defend. Like I can usually chip away and get a couple of poison counters in, but the matchup is extremely hard. I find it even more difficult than the burn matchup sometimes, which is crazy to think about because that is a notoriously difficult matchup for infect players. But that I'm very interested to see how things go. The way that the article talked about unbannings is like they're really looking into this and like the power of things and being like, you know what, we're going to potentially see a little bit more access to unbannings. Modern Horizon sets are here to stay. They're the norm. Injecting and changing up the meta very consistently that we've seen. Modern Horizons 1 really shifted and changed things. The big, additions there, of course, Hogak, which, eventually got banned. The two big ones that really stuck around after that, of course, were Urza, as well as Ren and 6. So like these cards that are powerful, but they weren't format warping. And then of course, Modern Horizons 2, Ragavan, the Evoke creatures, Urza Saga's all up in here. Like we got a lot of crazy stuff going on in Modern Horizons 2, and they announced Modern Horizons 3, which we'll talk about a little bit later in the episode. But let's go through a little bit of the ban list. It's still pretty long. When I was looking through it, I was going through there's definitely some red flags that say, hey, keep this on the ban list. I don't want to see it. The big scary ones that for good reason got banned, just for the consistency that they provided, the speed at which people could start killing other players, or combo potential with them for certain avenues or enablers, right? These scary cards that go, this is not a healthy card to have. So like things like we've seen cards that are easy to get off the ban list, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But the cards that are like, hey, don't put this on back in Modern, like Hogak. No, we don't need Hogak back. We don't need Eye of Ugin back. We don't need Golgari Grave Troll back. Right? These cards are not safe cards to add back into Modern. It's not what we need to be doing. Now, there are cards that are on this list that I go through and I go, Splinter Twin, we talked about it earlier. That's perfectly fine. I think it's safe enough. If you're committing this 2/1 out to try to kill me, okay, I have plenty of spells that can be able to kill this and spent plenty of ways to interact with this right now. So I feel like it's not as good as people think it's going to be. I think that keeping certain cards like that off, Ponder, I don't know. I think that's another one that could start to ease its way into it. Again, we'll keep an eye on that. Punishing Fire for sure. What like are Tron players going to go back to red green so they get this? Are Jund players going to go back and add that burning grove in there, the land that when you tap it your opponents gain a life. Like who's looking at this and going, punishing fire is a problem? I don't know. I think we have a lot of scary stuff there. Reoccurring removal though is, a little bit worrisome for some people, but I don't know if that's where you have to warp your deck to fit into that. Reoccurring removal is going to be a problem, but we'll see. I think that's potential safe card to be able to unban. All of the artifact lands, keep those banned. We don't need those off. I love Gitaxian Probe and Infect. I don't think that's coming off the ban list. Birthing Pod though, we can release that. I feel like that's good. Deathrite Shaman, I mean, that it was banned at a time where people were turned to Liliana of the Veil, and you would just get so much kind of advantage going that at this point, it's like that's no one's really running Liliana of the Veil. Like I don't know. The acceleration of it is really good for also having residual like graveyard hate, where there's plenty of accelerations, right? We just saw a halfling get printed in Lord of the Rings, right? There's lots of ways to kind of get out and ramp and do things. So I think Deathrite Shaman is another one that we could see within a couple of years start getting off the list as well. I don't know. It also might be they're worried if they're trying to push Murktide a little bit more with this most recent unbanning of Preordain, that they might want to keep Deathrite on the back burner for a while, and then if Murktide starts to get too much, introduce things like that and see how the meta shifts up. I like this idea of let's unban and see how the meta stabilizes instead of banning, right? Because I know a lot of people are like, the One Ring's a problem, Orcish Bowmasters, but now they're like, all right, let's change the format a little bit by introducing cards that weren't allowed to play, like this card. So I like that. Keep looking at things and seeing what we can add in. There's definitely some cards that I'm all for keeping banned. There's clearly some ones that should be banned, and there's ones that should be allowed to be free. So quick reminder of those, like there's lots we're talking about. Simian Spirit Guide, free mana and stuff like that. It was a problem. We don't need that free. Yeah, I don't know. It's like release the ones that are safe to do so, or safe to test out. All right. I mean, so far there's only one card that's been banned twice, and we'll talk about it in a video coming up. But for the most part, there's a lot of safe picks. At least 5 or 6 safe picks that you can easily unban and be like, all right, this is not going to do anything in the current age of modern. Right, it's fine. I was joking with people at the shop. They're like, yeah, just let Blazing Shoal free. And I was like, yeah, you know what? Let's go back to that Blazing Shoal pitching Progenitus kill somebody. Like, even that's like, that's not that's not what I'm really trying to do. But hopefully we get something in Modern Horizons 3 that lets me do a little better with Infect. But all right, so that's kind of our banning, unbanning talk. But let's talk a little bit about kind of 2024, because we did talk a little bit about it. Modern Horizons 3 is in the works. They're working on it. It's coming out. It's scheduled for that like Q2 of 2024. And we got a little bit from like the art from it of kind of, oh, interesting. It's, adding it like it depicted the Eldrazi Titans in it. So it's like, are they using it as a reprint set, like, as well as just having new cards like they've done before? Like, we've seen the Eldrazi get reprinted again and again, especially the big guys with them being popular in Commander. They're looking for ways to do it. So I mean, one of the things that they talk about is they're having more double face cards, um, which we've seen in other sets, but not something that we've really seen in Modern Horizons 1 or Modern Horizons 2. So I'm interested to see, in that space, if they go, we're designing double face cards specifically for Eternal formats, Modern and Legacy. How might we push them a little bit more? Like, Legacy Delver is still a deck, but what if they design Delver in 2023 standards? Like, what if we get like a Ragavan style Delver card? Like, there's some really scary stuff that they could do with some double face things here. So I'm, really interested to see what that looks like. But also, as always, we're going back to Ravnica. It's every couple of years we're going back. I am happy to see some like retro frame for some of the stuff. It's like we're getting like double Ravnica sets though. Like there's Ravnica Remastered, which is the very beginning of 2024, and it's gonna be a combination of all three previous Ravnica blocks. Supposed to be designed for a fun draft environment, but it's also got the retro frames of like iconic cards like those original Shocklands, Arclight Phoenix, things like that. And then like right after, it's going to be this like Haunted Mansion, Murders at Karlov Manor. It's a murder mystery set. Clues and things like that. A new form of multiplayer magic is supposed to be with it. We'll see what that looks like. I don't know. I'm excited as always to go back to Ravnica. I'm excited for a couple of the other stuff. They're going to have a Thunder Junction, Outlaws of Thunder Junction. It's a Wild West set that they're working on. We've seen different style of ones. The art for it seems really interesting. It's like it kind of looks like there's Rakdos there. It's I don't know. The outlines of the cards or the silhouettes of these outlaws are really intriguing to me. Wild West set sounds cool. I like those specific style sets that really speak to me, like the Wild West one. I'm like, oh, that's super flavor wins. Like if done well. I know a lot of people really hyped on New Capenna, like that mobster stuff. I wasn't as interested in that. I don't know. It's like, but some of those sets that are really, really cool like that, I don't know. It's they're designing so many sets that there's going to be one that'll speak to you because there's all of those universes beyond that they're working on. But ignoring all the universes beyond because I got distracted there. Sorry. Ignoring all the universe beyond stuff because there's like stuff that gets released that I don't care about. Like they're like, oh, here's this IP that we've got. Like it's great for people that are interested in it. Like there's Fallout and Assassin's Creed and things like that. But if you're not, then don't worry about it. And that's getting the case where there's going to be more and more sets that I'm just like, I don't care. I'm not interested in it. I'm not going to purchase it. I might pick up one or two singles from it for a very specific commander deck, but for the most part, I'm going to ignore it. Where there's other ones that just go, ooh, the idea of this set sounds really cool. I'm really interested in this. Like the Bloomburrow stuff that they're like, there's going to be no humanoids on it in the entire set. And the art for it's really cool. Like there's a lot of cool spoiler stuff for it. So like there's stuff that's definitely speaking to me, but there's too much releasing of sets, which kind of gets us into the next thing of the collapse of modern, or not modern, the Commander Master set. All right. So Commander Masters was a disaster. If you guys have been on the internet or seen anything of it, it's distributors have been getting people that have refused to get products right? They're returning products. They're doing these things that like things are not going well from the distributor side of things. The uh, packs just aren't selling. Boxes aren't selling. Like they had, list prices $300-$400, and they're basically being fire sale. Like since the release of the product, even on Amazon, where they just have a bunch sitting there, right? Where it's like a regular draft booster of it, they were trying to sell it initially for like $315, and it's listed on sale right now for $248. The set booster is $100 off. It was at give or take $415 initially, and you could buy it for $319. The collector boosters, $240 initially. Right now, they're trying to sell for $173. Really, people are trying to crack open and flip singles because nobody are buying the boxes themselves. Like it's not happening. I know there was a survey that went around Twitter and other spheres from Wizards of the Coast where you can talk about whether you like the product or not. Yeah, really, it was not well received just because so many people got priced out of it. I do know that out of the Commander sets, there's 2 of them that are still $100. Of course, that is our Eldrazi and our Sliver ones, because those are those powerful stuff. The Jeskai spell one and the what's the other one? The Abzan Enchantress. Both of those have gone on sale. They're no longer $100. They're like $65 to $70 each. And who knows how long those will be staying at that price before they might fall again, because everything must go. The set is not holding up to what it once was, or what people speculated that it would be, which is interesting to see, like just how much of a dump and run this set has been, where there's cool reprints in it, don't get me wrong, like especially if you're a reprint fan, like there are going to be cards that you go, oh, if I'm playing Commander, I might be interested in that, but it's not going to be something that you're going to want to crack packs. Like I'm a fan of cracking packs. I always like to sit here and do that and be like, oh, look at these cool cards that we get, and have fun with it. But like, I don't know, it's even if you're looking for doing that as a fan, like I'm a fan of it, I will not spend that kind of money on a box of this. I will maybe spend $100 and buy a bunch of different singles and go, yep, all right, that worked out great. I got cards that I wanted from the set, and then the cards that I didn't want, didn't have to worry about. Because there is all that downside of, oh, I opened a quote unquote bulk rare or something like that, or didn't get what I needed, and now here's a $5 rare where, oh, I opened a pack and it's got a $40 rare in it or something like that. Like you got a Fierce Guardianship, sweet, or one of those special art ones, but otherwise, you might get a card that you go, well, I'm never going to play this. So I don't know, buy the singles. Also, specific ones, if you don't have the Battle Bond lands, like you haven't picked them up yet, you should pick them up. They're a couple bucks. I don't know, $5 to $8, depending on which one you're getting. You should pick those up. If there's certain cards that are worth picking up just to have, and those are some of them. But overall, like this, I'm very interested to see what's going to happen. Like the rumors that I'm hearing is like from other creators and other people in the sphere, it's like the set priced a lot of people out, and they weren't happy about it, and they're hoping that this is the sign for Wizards. Don't keep doing this. I don't know if it will, since they're just turn and burn the sets out as quick as possible. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But that's kind of our magic discussion for this week. We're going to be working on some other stuff in the works, of course, getting more content out. We've been going through the history of Magic a little bit with banned list and modern and stuff on YouTube, having fun making those videos again, and really just kind of having fun getting back into the content creation side of things. But when we're talking about the normal end to the podcast, we go through and talk about what we're watching, what we're playing, all that kind of fun stuff. I did binge watch all of Ted Lasso. Had a blast watching it, and was just like constantly invested, and was like, I'm gonna watch all of this in a weekend pretty much. And I pretty much did. A couple days after that, I think it was like 4 or 5 days or something, to kind of around the summer and my time off. I was just like, I'm gonna watch all this, because I was just that enthralled and invested and enjoying the story of it so much. So I thought it was a lot of fun. So that was the thing that I've been watching, looking into some other shows. Excited Ashoka's coming out soon. Gonna be checking that out. I think there's been a couple other things. Of course, still going through the Bleach stuff that's going on. If you guys haven't gone through and seen that 1,000-Year Blood War that's going on, it's really good. You should check it out. Playing at the moment, I'm not on the Baldur's Gate kick, but it's on my radar of going, I wish I had time to commit and play it. It's good, but I'm just kind of sneaking in games when I can. Sneaking in things like some Valorant with some friends, some Hearthstone with friends, like just these little like stuff here and there, sneaking in a couple of games. Nothing really that crazy at the moment. But yeah, that's what's going on. That's what I'm playing. That's what I'm watching. All that fun stuff. We're trying to schedule a time so we can get in and talk more about Baldur's Gate, more about Diablo, more about all this other fun stuff that's been going on. But thanks so much for tuning in and listening. If you guys liked it, spread the word, let people know. Of course, podcasts available everywhere that podcasts are available. We've got other content over on YouTube if you guys want to see more of the Magic stuff. And if you like the stuff enough, you want to show a little bit more support, we do have a Patreon over there, patreon.com. And this one is at The Real Nan Man, which, of course, is the Twitter and the Twitch and all that fun stuff for that kind of content. But thanks for tuning in and listening, guys, and we'll see you guys next game.